Hello, and welcome to In the DeNovo, a series of video interviews with today's thought leaders on everything to do with treasury management, product management, and instant and faster payments, covering topics from payments to industry trends and other exciting subjects coming in the future. I'm Will Grace. I'm the host, founder, and managing director here at DeNovo Treasury. We're a consulting firm focused on helping financial institution leaders define strategy, transform client experience, and grow revenue in the treasury management space. Thanks for joining us and staying in the know within the DeNovo. Yeah, it's good to catch up. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it. So first off, please describe to us what Jobs to be Done is to our subscribers and listeners.
Yeah, so it in a very sort of basic way, the way we think about Jobs to be Done is a framework and set of tools that anyone can use. It started off in product management and product development, but it's basically a set of tools that you can use to understand customer demand, consumer demand. So basically, the most traditional way of applying it is we have an idea for a product that we want to launch, something that we want to go out into the market with, and what we want to do is talk to customers and find out if they are actually struggling with the thing we are trying to solve. And a lot of times we have sort of abstract ideas of the struggle, right? So if I play it into Autobooks, small businesses need to manage their books and do accounting, and they need to send invoices and get paid. But if you're at that sort of very general, basic level, you could build millions of different things to service those needs, right? And what Jobs to be Done affords us is a way to talk to customers in a very specific way that gets us down to the specificity of demand that enables us to make product decisions and design decisions in a way that will make products successful.
So this is something that you apply to the product that you're taking to market to begin with, but then you're also using it in the product development life cycle to make decisions about the features that you add to the product. So you're getting a lot of feedback from the market, from the users of the product. And so this is something that you use over time to kind of weed out, right, the noise, right? And what should you actually add to the product? Because you get a roadmap that grows, right? You get hundreds of requests to add features.
Yeah, so I always envision it as a loop, right? So I always want to start with demand. So I guess I throw these words around a lot. I think of demand as the energy in the consumer and in the user, right? So in jobs parlance, we say a customer is struggling to make progress in their life, right? So I want my business to run smoother. I want my books to be cleaner. I want my customers to pay me faster, whatever it is, to use the Autobooks domain. And we call that demand. So as a customer and a shopper, I woke up this morning with sort of a list in my head of like, I'd love for these things to be better in my life. And if I have time to work on these today, to shop for solutions, to call Will and ask what he uses to manage his books, whatever, I'll sort of spend some time and invest some energy in that. And that's demand, right? That's me as a customer wanting to make progress in my life. On the other side of the equation, we talk about supply, which is anything that we build on the business side, right? We can build products, technologies, things like that. And we have success when those two things connect. When we understand demand in a way that we can say, let's build this specific thing on the supply side, and then the customer will use it and take advantage of it. And to the point that you're making, I see it as a constant loop. We understand demand to the best of our ability, right? Get the most concrete understanding. We go back to our product and engineering and design folks and we say, hey, there's a bunch of customers struggling with this thing. Let's figure out all the different ways we could solve that, build it and launch it into the market. And of course, because we're not perfect, you don't always hit the bullseye. And then you go back and do it again. And all the people that adopted that thing, you say, what are you struggling with now, right? What are the new features that we need to add to this thing? How do we need to change it to make it better, to address your struggle better? And then you continue to evolve the product that way.
You know what they say about teaching an old dog, new tricks. So I've been in the industry a long time, and I grew up in product development in an inside out,
Yeah.
philosophy. This is definitely an outside in philosophy. So
Yep.
growing up in product development in banking, it was always about like what the industry is doing and what your competition is doing, and listening to your salespeople. And so it was a much different approach where we didn't talk to customers. We didn't listen
Yeah.
to what they wanted. We were always product pushing. I'll call it product push. And
Yeah.
so I'll admit that this has been, and you introduced this to me when I came to Autobooks. Actually, even before I came to Autobooks, you said, "Hey, as you're getting ready, go read this book." And I read the book, and it was completely like, it was foreign to me,
Yeah.
completely against thinking that I had trained for. So this is definitely the outside in approach to product development,
Yep.
against what I had done my entire career. So yeah, this is kind of that outside. You're listening and talking to customers every day, and even customers that have chosen not to buy your product, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And so to be honest, like everybody starts the same way you and I started, right? And it is, I describe it largely supply side. So I came out of school into software development, right? And all I cared about was what's the latest, greatest whiz bang technology out there? How do I study that? Because everybody is excited, right? I talk to other engineers, and we're today it's, well, it was crypto, now it's AI, right? We go through these phases, but how do I take that supply side material technology innovation and find a way to, it's not the right word, but cram it down the throats of the shoppers, right? They should want to use
Right.
ChatGPT for everything and use these APIs. And so we start from that method. And so when you talk about what's the industry doing, what are my competitors doing, there's this herd mentality, like supply side herd mentality. And there are breakout successes, right? But what I found is it's not the way to have the most success in terms of product development. The funny thing is, you mentioned the salespeople. In my experience, the sales folks are always naturally the closest to demand. So they're out there. The good sales guys are very, very in tune with what their customers are struggling with and doing their best to bring it back and translate it to the product team. The bad thing is without shared language and shared context and a real desire to understand the customer, most of the time it turns into like, oh, the sales guys they're complaining about all the features we don't have. They can't sell the stuff that we do have.
Yeah.
So what I found is you need, same reason you and I had the conversation when you were coming into Autobooks, like, hey, well, this is the language we speak. This is our obsession with the customer. We're not, and you had all of this intuitively that you had sort of built up over time, but we're not out chasing shiny object. We are very closely tied to what our customers are struggling with, and we're building the next thing based on what that loudest struggle is at any given time. But I feel like, I talk to a lot of product folks, and more and more engineers, interestingly enough, over the past couple of years, are really taking an interest in jobs to be done. And they all have gone through some version of the story you told. Started off very supply side, sort of building a bunch of stuff, and then realized I've got to figure out what the customer really wants if I'm going to be successful. And let me sort of figure out this jobs thing in the hopes that it gives me some answers.
I love it when a good conversation comes together. We are so lucky to have friends willing to sit down and talk with us about the industry. For more content like the video we shared today, check out our website at DeNovoTreasury.com and our YouTube channel at DeNovo Treasury. Thanks for joining us today for In the DeNovo. See you next time.